Where is BlackRock's XRP ETF? That's the big question we're diving into today. With a wave of ETFs already crossing the finish line and some recent delays, it's time to explore where XRP fits into the mix. Tired of fake gurus who claim to be expert traders but never trade live? I trade live on the second largest crypto exchange, where everything is transparent and results can't be faked. For over 440 days, I've consistently closed every month in profit. In the last 90 days alone, my followers have earned over $34,000 in profits with only 4% drawdown. Verified results, not empty claims. Want to see my verified stats? Click the first link in my profile and start copying my trades for free today. In this video, we'll break down what's happening with these XRP ETFs and exactly where BlackRock stands in all of this. Why does it matter? Because these ETFs could bring billions of dollars into the XRP ecosystem, acting as a massive catalyst for price growth. It's a game changer in the making. So let's dive deep into what's holding things up, when these ETFs might officially launch, and what this could mean for XRP's future. Don't miss it. As always, I can't thank you enough for supporting this channel. It truly means the world to me. A huge shout out to everyone who hits that like button and subscribes. Those small actions go a long way and make a big difference. Oh, and if you're looking for a solid place to grab some XRP, don't miss my favorite exchange, Uphold, linked in the description below. All right, let's dive in. I think you're really going to enjoy today's content. Let's talk about the fascinating saga of the BlackRock XRP ETF. A few years back, BlackRock actually filed for an XRP ETF. It sparked a lot of buzz, but as some of you may remember, it was ultimately dismissed. Rumors swirled about a fake filing. Talk spread quickly that someone had falsely submitted the BlackRock XRP ETF, sparking promises of an investigation, but no culprits were ever found. It left everyone asking, how does someone even fake an ETF filing with the SEC when you need specific registrations to pull it off? The mystery deepened. Some even speculated, did BlackRock intentionally file, gauge the market's reaction, and then backtrack, claiming, oh, nope, that wasn't us. Carry on, nothing to see here. The situation remains murky, with no clear answers, but what's crystal clear is the momentum building in the ETF world. More filings are being submitted, approvals are inching closer, and we've now seen both the first futures and futures ETFs go live. If this sounds familiar, it's because Bitcoin followed a strikingly similar trajectory. First, we saw Bitcoin futures go live, then came the futures ETFs, and finally, the much-anticipated spot ETFs. But here's the thing, futures ETFs and spot ETFs aren't the same animal. Futures ETFs only trade on cash, tracking Bitcoin's price without actually owning it. They don't shift Bitcoin's supply and demand dynamics directly. Sure, they can influence the price, but not quite like a spot Bitcoin ETF. Spot ETFs? They're game changers. They pull Bitcoin straight off the open market, creating real demand. Futures ETFs? They're just playing with numbers. Spot ETFs are the real deal. A lot of people are buzzing with the same question, when will we finally see spot XRP ETFs? Here's the deal. Getting the futures ETF approved is a huge first step. Think of it as regulators dipping their toes into the crypto waters. Right now, they're cautious about trusting pricing data from places like Coinbase or other exchanges. But the CME, that's their golden standard. The CME, which issues the futures, provides the reliable pricing data regulators need. With this in hand, they've greenlit the futures ETF as a starting point. Now, as the futures ETF gains traction and proves its stability, regulators can confidently move toward approving the highly anticipated spot ETF. It's all about building trust, one step at a time. The spot ETFs have officially been filed, but it looks like we're hitting a bit of a pause before they actually go live. Delays are starting to trickle in, which, let's be honest, isn't all that surprising. Many expected this process to take some time. After all, Paul Atkins has just joined the SEC. Fast-tracking approvals was never really in the cards.
Musico proud teams.
The first delay has landed, specifically for the XRP spot ETF, which has now been pushed to June 17th. On the bright side, the final decision deadline is set for October, so we're not completely in limbo. Realistically, I'd bet on these spot ETFs rolling out between midsummer and early fall. So, while the waiting game continues, we're inching closer to the moment everyone's been waiting for. I don't see the SEC delaying things just for the sake of it. With Paul Atkins on board, the new SEC seems to be taking a much more crypto-friendly stance, and not just toward Bitcoin. Atkins isn't just a supporter, he's deeply invested in multiple cryptocurrency companies, clearly showing he's in this for the growth of the entire crypto industry. Now, where it gets really interesting is BlackRock's role in all of this. Rumors are swirling that XRP is lined up to be the next big ETF under BlackRock's name, and these whispers aren't coming from just anyone. They're from trusted sources who tend to get it right. In my view, BlackRock is playing its cards strategically. They don't want to cause a major price surge in XRP before their ETF officially launches. It's almost as if they're intentionally keeping things under wraps, maintaining a low profile while they set the stage for what could be a game changer in the market. In my view, BlackRock is playing the waiting game, holding off until there's more clarity on when these ETFs will officially launch. Let's be real, BlackRock doesn't need much time to file for a spot ETF. Look at what happened with Bitcoin ETFs. They all hit the market on the same day. So here's the deal. BlackRock is likely stalling until they're confident these spot ETFs will get the green light. Why get stuck in the application queue, drawing attention and endless questions when they're clearly trying to keep things under wraps? My guess? They'll file right at the last possible moment to still make the first approval batch. If there's any truth to the rumors about BlackRock filing the first XRP ETF, as I mentioned earlier, it's clear they weren't thrilled with the attention it stirred up. It moved the market, created a buzz, and now they're likely trying to keep XRP tucked away in stealth mode. Smart move or calculated secrecy? Time will tell. It's becoming pretty clear that BlackRock is holding off on filing for their ETF until we're closer to the go-live date. But the real question is, why? Could there be more to their relationship with Ripple than meets the eye? Here's what we know. Ripple has been collaborating with major US banking institutions, and the head of digital assets at BlackRock just happens to be a former Ripple employee. Not just any employee, though. This is the person behind the XRP price calculator. These folks know XRP inside and out. They've built models and valuations for how high XRP could potentially rise. So, could it be that BlackRock is strategically waiting to avoid a flood of investors diving into XRP before they're ready? It's just speculation for now, but it does make you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. To me, it feels like all the pieces are falling into place toward a bigger picture. Think about it. The head of digital assets at BlackRock is an ex-Ripple employee. Coincidence? I doubt it. Add to that the buzz about BlackRock potentially filing an ETF for XRP, pulling it back after a lukewarm market response, and now seemingly holding off on launching the next one. Plenty of reports suggest they're eager to file. And I firmly believe BlackRock is gearing up to play a key role in the XRP ecosystem. They've openly stated that public blockchains are the future of the next-gen financial system, and let's be honest, Bitcoin doesn't fit that vision. Ethereum? Unlikely. The connections to XRP are undeniable, and the delay feels strategic, almost like they're carefully biding their time because they know exactly where this is headed. At the end of the day, these spot ETFs will be game changers for XRP, setting the stage for something monumental. For the longest time, getting money into XRP felt like an uphill battle. In the US, they made it nearly impossible, throwing up roadblocks at every turn. And let's not even talk about the lack of media coverage. XRP has been largely ignored by mainstream outlets. The only real information comes from people like me and the dedicated online community, fighting to spread the word while the system seems intent on keeping everyone else out. But here's where things get exciting. ETFs are about to change everything. They have the potential to funnel billions of dollars into the XRP ecosystem. JP Morgan even predicts these ETFs could drive $8.00 to $10 billion, 0 cents in inflows within their first year. That's money XRP has never seen before. Money that could potentially skyrocket its value. This is the kind of momentum that could reshape the entire game. Currently, the XRP multiplier sits between 5x and 600x, meaning every dollar invested into XRP has the potential to amplify its market cap by 5 to 600 times. Now, imagine the ripple effect, pun intended, if $5.00 to $6 billion 0 cents flooded into XRP. Absolutely staggering growth. If major banking institutions truly plan to leverage the XRP ledger, they'll need to strategize well in advance. Waiting until their products go live, only to see XRP prices skyrocket, would leave them scrambling to secure XRP at much higher levels, a move they'd likely want to avoid. Here's the kicker. Right now, there's still a way to stock up on XRP without causing a market frenzy. Financial institutions can purchase XRP directly from Ripple through OTC deals, avoiding market disruption. However, Ripple still sells at market rates. The smart play? Keep XRP prices low, quietly buy from Ripple, and load up behind the scenes. By doing so, these institutions can prepare for the future without tipping off the market or driving up the price prematurely. Let's be clear, this is speculative, but it's hard to ignore the potential here. For financial institutions to jump on board, they'd need a clear use case or see XRP as a worthwhile investment. In my view, that feels like a no-brainer. The world is rapidly moving toward cryptocurrencies, and no company is better positioned for mass adoption than Ripple, with XRP at its core. Many major financial players are already using RippleNet, likely relying on Ripple's custody solutions. And now, with Ripple's prime broker partnership with Hidden Road, they're deeply embedded in the XRP ecosystem. These institutions aren't just looking for investments, they're chasing real utility, and Ripple is delivering it. It's hard to believe they can't see the massive potential XRP brings to the table. With Ripple positioning itself as the bridge between traditional finance and the decentralized world, XRP is primed to play a central role. This entire shift screams XRP, and in my view, financial institutions are strategically setting the stage. They're not about to let the price skyrocket before they secure their positions. Filing for ETFs, getting approvals, and then quietly stocking up on XRP? Not a chance. They'll want to cement their positions early, well before the masses catch on. That way, they can roll out their ETF products later, market the heck out of them, and ride the wave as their own holdings soar in value. It's classic Wall Street, always a step ahead, ensuring they win big before everyone else even knows what's happening. This isn't some far-fetched conspiracy. It feels straight out of their playbook. If BlackRock is launching an ETF and selling it to customers, you can bet they're positioning themselves to profit beforehand. It's hard not to connect the dots. Everything about this ETF release feels a little too calculated. The timing, the strategy, the buildup, it all seems just a bit too convenient. In my view, there's no doubt a BlackRock ETF will cross the finish line first, ahead of the others. The big question is why? Why delay if you've got someone with Ripple experience who even created an XRP price calculator leading your digital assets team? To me, the answer is clear. They're setting themselves up to front-run the market and capitalize on the price. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope this update gave you something to think about. Stay sharp.